Hi guys, welcome back to WDSportz. It's your host Ahmed, and today we've got a special guest today talking about a very, very sensitive topic, and we're grateful he's on here. Why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Derek Adu, and I play football. So yeah.
Del, what clubs do you play for at the moment, or is it just one club you play for?
No, right now I'm currently at Billy Ritchie, but I'm leaving. I'm heading to Germany, so I'm just waiting on this Corona thing to pass by, and then I'm going really.
What is it? Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund?
Yeah, I wish, man. I keep that one a secret. It's Bundesliga too, but obviously, you know, football, you can't. Well, you say something and then it might not happen. So I guess I just need to be honest.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll wait and see, and hopefully you might be in the next FIFA. But obviously, we're talking about something that's very sensitive today. I made a video about it the other day, and I'm glad you're coming on. It's about race and the George Floyd incident. What is your impressions from that? First of all, what is your overview about the George Floyd incident, and what do you think it's kind of shown in society?
My view on it is a bit mad because when I saw that video, it doesn't matter if it's black, white, green, yellow. Like, you see someone dying like that at that age, it's a bit crazy, you know. It's like seeing a fully grown man die, and it's not like it weren't a quick death. It was like horrible and slow, you know. Someone like choking you out of breath. So it's like, it was pretty disgusting, man. Like, I think if you had a heart and you saw someone die like that, you'd be like, no, that's not right, man. That one, when I saw that video kind of hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
I can see, because obviously it's injustice and it's fine. And when we talk about Black Lives Matter as well, I think there is that issue with, from a sporting point of view, as yourself as a player, have you ever had an incident where, from official or someone else or an opposition team, where you feel racially discriminated, or feel like you've been injustice?
Yeah. Not really from officials, more from fans, really. But you know, it's one of them situations, man. Like, it's hard to ignore, but you try your best to ignore it. You know, it's hard to just say get on with it. But obviously, I told my manager after the end of the match. Sometimes it gets dealt with, sometimes it gets blown out of proportion, you know. But that's just how it is in football. When something like that happens, obviously people need to understand that football clubs is a business. It's like working for Barclays. So if it gets tarnished, it's like your name. It's like also the club's name. So you have to be careful, like the way you go about things. You know what I'm saying?
And we talk about that issue, and we talk about this other issue called support. Do you feel like you have support when this is going on? When you have this racial discrimination, I want to say, going against you, do you feel like there are support channels you can go to, or is it very much that you have to deal with it by yourself?
It's a bit of both, really. It depends on the situation and what really happened. To be honest with you, it shouldn't be like that, but that's just life. So it's one of those situations. I've actually had support from the people I've told when the incident happened, but it hasn't happened to me like recently. This was like ages ago. I had good support, to be honest, but obviously as for certain players, I don't know how they go about it or like if they've had any support. But me personally, I've had some decent support, and we've kind of like sorted it out.
When we talk about the racial issue with George Floyd, and when we talk about sport, we mentioned Kaepernick quite a bit. Colin Kaepernick was the one who did the kneel and all stuff like that. How do you think, as a sportsman, America has reacted to it, and do you think they've reacted too late to it?
Well, you know what he did. He risked everything. Like, he's without a club now, so all his dreams, everything he's worked hard for, he risked it all just to make a valid and a very important point. And it's a bit upsetting because in America, I don't know, like, obviously no offense to Americans, but like some of the people, the way they think is so backwards. Someone's done something like that and yet it still goes on. Like, do you know what it means for someone to like just risk everything? Remember, this is how he gets paid. This is how he pays his bills, his mortgage, feeds his kids, if he has any, do you know what I'm saying? So obviously it's a situation that needs to be taken very, 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 very like highly, but some people don't think that way, you know? And that's just the world we live in.
Yeah, and when we talk about America athletes as well, do you think sports stars in this country, and as well just general players like yourself, have those issues where you are dealing with race, and if you do speak up, it could tarnish your career in some aspect?
Depends. It depends. It depends on who you tell. It depends on how they deal with it. It depends. At first, you could tell someone everything could be looking towards your way, like everyone's rooting for you, and then it gets like the situation gets to like the head of like, I don't know, your football club or something, and then it just becomes, you know what, like just terminate his contract. So this is what I mean with players. You have to be really careful the way you go about things. You can't just jump into it willy-nilly thinking everyone's going to just help you out. Sometimes it don't work like that. Everyone knows like life don't work like that. Sometimes you have to do things yourself, especially if you're black. You know you have to like work a bit harder than everybody else. It's not going to be easy just going in there explaining this is what's happened and everyone's going to take your side. It doesn't happen like that. Do you know what I mean? There's only certain people, maybe some people you have better relationship with than others. Maybe it's safer to tell them the situation. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, I know where you're coming from. And when we talk about this horrible racial injustice, I feel like it's been building for a long time, especially in sports. We saw it with the England team, we saw it with Raheem Sterling. Do you think racism in football is very hard to almost, I want to say, eradicate, because there are still going to be that 10% who are going to ruin it for the 90%? Or do you think there is a way to make sure that everyone has an equal playing field?
There is a way. There is a way. There's always a way for everything, but it just depends on how much effort and how you go about it and how much like the type of action you take to stop it. But then again, this is the problem. Like, if you try to eradicate something that's been deep rooted into something, it's not going to go away like straight away. It's obviously going to take time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a mentality one way of just being racist, you know, some people are racist and they don't know they're actually racist. It's not going to be easy to eradicate that out of someone. It's going to take a while. Do you know what I mean? So maybe, like, I don't know, harsher punishments of some sort. But then again, punishment is not really going to, like, eradicate it. It might bring more awareness to it so people stop being racist blatantly. That doesn't mean it's eradicated. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. And when we talk about racial prejudice and discrimination, do you ever feel like that impacts you in a certain way as your playing style, where you can play football, for instance? Eastern Europe, no offense to Eastern Europe, is very stereotypically, there has been a lot of kind of racist ultras in those teams. We saw it with the Europa League, we've seen it with the Champions League, we've seen it with international football. Do you talk about going to Germany, and that's brilliant, to pursue your football dream, and I wish you all the luck. But do you feel like you'll have some issue if you got a link with a top Serbian club? Like, I might damage myself here because it is very racist in these countries. Do you ever feel like it's always in the back of your mind, racism, about where you want to play your football and where you're going to move to?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but in this situation, it's kind of different because, me personally, I don't know about anybody else. You just go to play football. You don't go to think about. Not me and about the negative stuff, because I thrive with confidence. You have to be confident in whatever you do, especially in football. So you can't go in there thinking, oh, what happens if they're racist or this and that. You just got to deal with it. Like, you take it on the chin. You just go with the flow. Just deal with it. You go there to play football, and that's really what you're there for. You're not there to be a politician and tell you, oh, I think this person is racist, this person might be racist. I don't think like that. I just go and play football. If it occurs, then obviously then I deal with it. If it doesn't, then you know what I mean? If it does occur, then obviously you have to like make some sort of effort to make it known. But there's only so much as a player I can do, you know?
You talk about how much you can do as a player. Did you ever feel when you were playing your number of years of football, you ever felt like this sort of discouragement to play the sport you love so much because of your race, or do you think that's not the issue in this country?
Discouragement. Well, it depends. Obviously, growing up, it depends if you're playing non-league, in the league. It all depends. If you play non-league, some people might be racist. Sometimes are, sometimes aren't. Sometimes cheer you on, some dislike you. It all depends. Or you could be in the Premier League. You could be in the lower league, League One, Championship. you might be playing, you might hear it from a fan, no one else might hear it, so you have to argue a point. It all depends. But obviously, this is what you've been doing your whole life. You've been training to be a professional footballer, so you're playing football. Like, you shouldn't let things get to you, even though that one, it will get to you. But at the same time, you can't be discouraged, because then when you start putting in a poor shift on the pitch, then everyone's thinking, what's going on? Why is he like playing like that? Obviously, you can make it known and like make your manager or your like manager assistant aware of the situation, but you can't, like, you just have to like keep going, you know? You can't be discouraged, because if you're having a poor game, you're just going to get replaced. And then if that person has a better game, then your spot might be up for takings, you know? So, you know what I mean? It's like a dog-eat-dog world. You just got to just play. You just got to do your best, really.
And I think that's great advice for anyone who's listening, who's in a same position as you. As well, talking about the Black Lives Matter campaign, talking about how you've seen it on Twitter and social media and other pages. How do you think, first of all, the whole world's reacted to it, and how you've reacted to it as well? How do you think the football world's reacted to it? We've seen with the Bundesliga, they did the Justice for George Floyd. Is that something you're very happy to see?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually happy to see everything that's happening, the protest, everything, because it's been going on for too long now, and I don't think a lot of people are really understanding why we are actually hurt by it. It's really deep. It goes more than just a protest. It's actually, we feel it everywhere, from football to people who don't play football, to people who work, to just normal citizens, to like people as young as like 5. You know, you see them out protesting that. You're thinking, why are they out protesting? It actually affects everyone. It's not just football. It's not just sports. It affects literally everybody. So it's good that everyone in sports is taking their time out to address the situation, as well as people who are not in sports and other people higher in power need to like look at the situation and just say, well, this is getting out of hand. We've got to do something about it. Because if they don't, it's just going to be the same thing over and over again.
That's a brilliant point. Do you think, I was having this discussion with someone else the other day, and take any football player with the black square on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen it, and all these tweets. Do you feel like there are some people who are just posting it, who aren't really, I want to say believers in it, but they're just doing it for a good PR move or a good social media stint, or to show to fans or people that follow them that they are behind the movement?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, like, if you believe in something and you know what's true to you, then that's what's true to you. If you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, you really got to look in the mirror and take a good look at yourself and wonder what you're doing in your life, because that's something that's really sad. This is actually an important and, in fact, a sad issue that's actually happening in our world. And if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it and not actually reading into it, then I actually don't know what to say. I'm a bit misunderstood as to why someone would do that. Like, someone has just died, so everyone's protesting about Black Lives Matter. So they posted a black square to show unity and show power and show something that they really care about. And if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then yeah, I literally have no respect for like people with like deep thinking issues. We're going through a lot right now, and if you're just jumping on the bandwagon for the sake of jumping on it, you got to take a deep look at yourself and wonder, like, if you're alright. You know, you actually shouldn't do things like that. That's like something just happening that's terrible, and I'm just jumping on it. When someone asks me, "Oh, what made you post that?" What am I gonna say? I've got a solid answer. It just makes me like an idiot. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure clout is not a sensible answer, is it? Because some people would say that. And finally, one of the last points I want to make is we get a lot of people asking for advice, whether it's an aspiring coach or an aspiring player. What is your advice to someone who is playing at a level where they are being racially abused, where they are feeling a bit discriminated? What is your advice to them, if you've got any?
Well, yeah, of course. Try and sort the situation out, because what will happen is it will affect you, and then you won't be able to enjoy what you're doing. And if you don't enjoy it, there's no point doing it. You got to enjoy something you're doing. That's the best way you're gonna flourish. And if you don't, it makes no sense you doing it. You know. So try seek advice. I tell someone about it. Like try seek help. Maybe your coach, maybe your friends, or like your agent or whatever. Just try seek advice, because like the other day I see a lot of things about mental health issues. So it's hard to sometimes deal with things alone, mentally alone. It's hard. You do need help. Just try and sort out the situation. Get advice from someone. You know, just everyone. We all need help sometimes. Because then if you don't, you're just going to be stuck in this ditch, and you won't be able to get out. And you think you can do it yourself, but you won't. And it's just going to affect you, and then it's just going to affect everything you do in life. Whether it's sports or just being at home or doing anything by yourself, it's going to affect you, and that could lead to some bad paths you don't really want to go down, you know?
Well, Del, that's great advice to leave it on. And unfortunately we can't have more time on this topic because it's very broad, as you know. Hopefully we might do a part 2 someday. But yeah, thank you so much for being brave enough to talk about race and talk about a topic where it needs to be addressed. And your opinions were valid, and everything you said, I'm sure people will take on board. I'm sure people would live and stand by it. So thank you so much.